What's up, everybody? B Mason, Built by B Mason. Look, I'm in full assault mode right now, man. I got off work. I came straight out here to the shop to get it in. I told y'all September, a full blitz month for me. I'm knocking out a whole bunch of bills that I got to do. Plus, I added on some of my own personal bills, which means I'm super busy now. Before we do anything, like the video, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when I put out more videos like this. Send the video to some friends, comments, do all that stuff that YouTube likes so YouTube can share my video with other people. It's hot out here in the shop. I want to turn the air on, but if I turn the air on, then y'all won't be able to hear me when I'm talking. So I gotta suffer for y'all. But that's what we're gonna do. Let's get into it. Oh, I forgot. Roll the intro. Let's go. All right, y'all, here we go. Let's get into it. So like I told you, I already did all the hard work last night, which was going through and figuring out all the CPMs that work and don't work. It's a bunch of shafts that I had, a bunch of old Moduses that I had, which I still got a lot of them right here, but the label had got stripped off of some of them. So I didn't know what some of them was at all. So what I had to do was I had to go in and find a CPM number that worked with me and the flex that I wanted to be in on all of these clubs, which is I want to be in the stiff range. You know, the stiff range can be pretty high. You know what I'm saying? With stiff, you might be looking at anything from like, oh man, like a 5.5 to like a 6.4 or something like that. 5.5 to 6.4. Mainly if it's a 7.9, you're looking at the stiff being anywhere from like, I don't know, 330 to 350, something like that on the 7.9. So, and that's just a range, you know what I'm saying? You can go by different charts and stuff like that, but I know where I want to be at. I like to be in the middle of the stiff, so that's what I did. So I was having a hard time finding a shaft for this sand wedge. So I got an old NS Pro, the 1150. It's stiff. It's almost a little bit too stiff, but it's all good. It's in my range, but it's definitely on the higher end of my range. It came in at 326, and then they just go down from there. You know, this one coming in at 315, 306, 296. So they got the correct descending. You want to be kind of like, you know, 7 CPM. My tolerance is like 7 to 9 CPMs between each club. So that's where we at. So they good to go. The bad thing is I had to put an extension on some of these that you all can't see. Let me see if I can get you up there. I had to put an extension on these, and I have not glued the extension in it yet. So because I gotta do extensions, that's what I'm gonna do tonight out here. I'm just gonna prep these extensions, get them glued in. I'm gonna show y'all how I do that. Now, I didn't go out and buy like real extensions or anything like that, especially cause these my clubs too. So what I did was I took old shafts and I made them extensions. Well, I'm finna cut them and show you how I make them extension. So that's the good thing about when you see shafts with steps on them. If you push it down and get it in the right step, that can become an extension. So let me give you an example. All right, y'all, so here's the example. We got this shaft, and then we got this old shaft right here. If you can see on here, it's got steps. That's a step, that's a step, that's a step, that's a step. What you wanna do is you wanna take this in and you wanna find out where the step end at. Bam, that's it. On this club, that's where that step end at. So what you wanna do is you wanna make a mark on that step, take it out, and where my thumb is, that's where the step is. Well, you don't wanna put all this in the shaft. So really you just wanna cut most of this off and leave 3/4 to an inch left over, because you gotta epoxy this part inside the shaft. So what I like to do is I like to measure. I get me like 3/4 and I cut the rest of this off. So let me show you how I do that. So I'm gonna put my step, where the step inserts into the shaft, I'm gonna put that on 37. And I know that I only wanna have 3/4 left over. So right here, 3/4, I'm gonna cut. Bam. So, all right, so now that I got my mark, now all I'm gonna do is take all this excess, all this right here, I'm gonna cut that off. So we go over here to my saw, which I got a new one on the way. We got our mark right there. We're gonna put it in here. Can't wait till I get my new cutoff wheel and machine. That way I don't have to like put this in this jig every time. But neither here nor there, let's cut. All right, that's a perfect cut. Bam. We got 3/4 left over. Now, let's go fit it back. Now that we got that cut off, we got our mark. As you can see, when I put this in here, bam, that's it. It stopped on that step that we initially marked. We push it in, bam. That's it for that part. So, after I do that, I'm gonna take it over here. You want this to stick. You want this epoxy to adhere, so you gotta abrade this. So the way you abrade it is I'm gonna take you over to my wheel, turn it on. Perfect, that's it. So as you can see, that's now abraded. It's ready to be epoxy into the shaft like so. Bam. That's it. What I also like to do, I like to take a steel wool and kind of clean that out on the inside some, just to make sure I get the best adhesion as I can. So I take this and I just go in and I just go around like that. Whenever you, I mean, it's just stuff you gotta do when you're working with old, used equipment. It's a lot of figuring it out a lot of times. So now that's done, all I gotta do now is epoxy this in here like so. Now we just made our own shaft extension. All right, so you just saw the process. I showed you how, after I get my CPMs and get all my stuff properly how it's supposed to be, I showed you how I measure it, how I cut it, how I braid it, and how it go back in like that. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do all the rest of them, and then that's all I'm gonna do for the night, because I gotta go in and record another video. So that's all I'm gonna do for the night. Anyway, once you glue these up, sometimes I use like 5-minute epoxy or like hour-long epoxy. For these, I'm gonna just go ahead and use my 24-hour epoxy. So I'm gonna epoxy these with 24-hour epoxy. So the next thing you see is I'll show you how I epoxy these in here, and then I'll let them sit for 24 hours, and then I'll come back tomorrow and continue to build. So that's what we're doing for now, and that's it. So you'll see a time lapse probably. I'm gonna go through this epoxy, and that'll be it for the night. All right, let me start cutting. And I'm about to turn my air on because it's hot in here. All right, y'all, so now we're finna mix up the epoxy to put the shaft extensions in. So it's real simple. I use Golf Works 24-hour epoxy. It's a 1-to-1 mix. So one part A, the one part B. I'm gonna use some little shafting beads in here, just so if I got any of those extensions that might be a tad bit loose, that epoxy can expand, make sure it grip those babies. Other than that, that's it. So we're gonna start, I'm gonna do like 2, and then I'll do a time lapse for the rest. All right, y'all know how I get down. I hate getting epoxy on my hands. So sorry if the camera a little shaky. I didn't feel like going to get my other tripod, so it's on like a little janky tripod, so you know, sorry about that. All right, let's mix this stuff up. I need a little stick. I like to break these sticks in half too, that way I can keep reusing them over and over. All right, 1 to 1. All right, let's get the mixing. One thing about epoxy, you don't have to use a lot of it because you want to give the epoxy room to expand. So this should get me through my short set. It's all by feel, by eye. For me, it's probably just like muscle memory at this point. All right, get some shafts and get like 3 paper towels. Also with those paper towels, grab 3, turn them into 6. And the first one, what you want to do, you just want to take it, roll it on like so. Then you take it, put it in the shaft. Y'all see that? Put it in the shaft. My arm probably blocking it, but basically turn this way. Put it in the shaft, spin it on like so. Make sure it's coated good. Get that little bit that fell out, put that back in there. All right, once it's on there good like that, if you want to save some of that epoxy, you can take it, bring it back down. That's how you save some. Basically, one of those paper towels, you can turn it into 18 if you want to. Just keep tying them because you don't need a lot. You take it, you wipe it off like that. Bam. And now, even though the head not glued on, I like to keep the head on because what I do is take that shaft, take like a tamping plate. If you don't have a tamping plate, you can go to Home Depot, get like a concrete or the little thing you hit to flatten out your landscape. You just take it, tap it on there like that, get 3 good ones. Yeah, that's a good one. I like to use the heads, so I don't put it on the shelf. I take it face down like so, and let the weight of the head push down on it. And I leave it there, and I let it dry for 24 hours. Come in, do the same thing here. You want to get that, spin it on, yeah, just like that. You take it, put it in there, spin it in, just like that. Make sure you cover the whole thing. Sometimes you can take it and go around the edge like that, get the leftover epoxy, and just spin it in there, like so. Then once you do that, take your excess, take that off of there. Now you don't have to grab this extra epoxy. If you don't really care about the extra epoxy, you could easily just take it and wipe it off. That's just for everybody who's trying to save as much epoxy as you can. So bam, that's that one. Take that tamping plate. There you go. Take it face down with the shaft down. Let that way the head sit on it. Let it sit there so it can dry. All right. So I'm not gonna bore y'all. I got 3 more to do, and then I got a whole other set over here that I need to glue up as well. So y'all get to listen to some music and watch me go. All right. All right, y'all, since this 24-hour epoxy, I like to put the date and the time. Today is Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. Today's Tuesday, so they'll be ready tomorrow, which is Wednesday, at 9:25 p.m. 24 hours. And I like to leave this stick stuck on here, because if it's stuck, then I mean everything all good. Cool. Let me show you what I did over here. Here's everything. The extensions are glued up. Down there, glued up. What I like to do is I like to leave it with the heads on. That way gravity is pushing down on it. So yeah. That's about it. So that's all I got for you in this video right here. Today what we did was we using a whole bunch of used equipment, old equipment that's passed down. It took me quite a bit of while to figure out the CPMs, get everything correctly on it. What we did was we glued up a whole bunch of shaft extensions. Tomorrow we'll come in and we'll cut them back off. We'll double check our specs again before we start moving on to the next phase. So that's it, man. Like always, if y'all like this video, please subscribe. Also hit the bell notifications so you can be notified when I put out more videos like this. Hit the like button. And if you got some comments, man, yeah, you can comment in the comment section. I normally reply to all comments on like Sunday evening when I'm sitting down chilling. I just reply to everybody's comments. Or at least that's what I'm gonna start trying to do, because I got a lot of comments and I want to make sure I'm getting to everybody. So yeah, that's all I got, man. Like always, I told you, September, my blitz month. I'm gonna just blitz y'all with videos, content, the whole 9. If you're not following me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram too, Builtbybmason. Lots of good news coming down the pipeline, lots of big updates, all that good stuff, man. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. All right, man, I'm gonna holler at y'all. Builtbybmason. Peace.
I don't need no college, cause I'm getting stupid amounts. Yeah, I'm getting stupid amounts. Ayy, so much that I'm losing accounts. Ayy, I'm a young boss in my state. Yeah, so I gotta stay in my town. Ayy, I think I'm staying around. Ayy, what is they talking about? Ayy.